Hey guys, welcome to my channel Glen. My name's Glenn. I like to share with you what I learn in the world of cryptocurrency as I go through it. So I just want to say a massive congratulations to everyone that held on to Bitcoin. There's a very small percentage of you that if you had bought Bitcoin, you would currently be at a loss. For everyone else, you should be in profit. Now, I'm not including all the people that bought Bitcoin and sold it for some altcoin and then traded it and then exchanged it and all of that stuff. If you'd bought Bitcoin and you held it to today, whenever you bought it in history, you're probably profitable right now. Bitcoin has just hit over $18,000. When I woke up this morning, it was almost at 18,500. Now the all-time high is coming up very shortly, so I thought I'd do this video just as a throwback to when it was 18,000 last time, to show where we've come from, me as a crypto investor, this channel, you as an audience, just so we can all get perspective of what could happen and what has happened in the past. So let's get right into today's video. As always, I always like to start these videos off by saying a massive thank you to every single one of you out there that have been smashing the like button, that have been clicking subscribe. You guys are the guys that make me look at those sort of stats and figures and think, yeah, I'll do another video and I'll still keep the channel going and all that sort of stuff. It keeps me ticking over. It shows that you guys are interested in what I've got to say. So therefore, I don't mind keep talking. So keep smashing that like button, keep clicking subscribe. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers now, which is awesome. Really happy about that. So I've done a video the other day talking about things that I'm keeping my eye on, and I did state in that video Bitcoin is sucking all the air out of the room, and that continues to be the case. While that is happening, altcoins will struggle because all the money is just going into Bitcoin, and anyone who has holdings of altcoins, they may not be compelled to sell them right there and then for Bitcoin, but as Bitcoin goes up and up and up and people can't see where it's going to end, that's when altcoins will really struggle. Now, oddly enough, that is also the best time to buy altcoins, because what will happen is when Bitcoin eventually does come to a top or hits a resistance or drops back down and works its way back up and then drops back down, that is when altcoins, everyone starts to think, right, this is the top now. I'm going to sell my Bitcoin at the top. I've made 50% gain, 100% gain, whatever it may be. And they're going to, most of you, because of greed, most of you will put 100% of that all into altcoins again. And that is when we'll have a little alt season, a little alt run. I think the good cryptos will do really well. They'll be really strong. But saying that, I always have faith that this sector is maturing and people are going to pick good projects and stuff like that. But then we did just see people buying hot dog token and cake token for no reason other than greed. Like purely, there was no fundamental like technical. I mean, these coins were coming out one day and then literally like they were pumping 500x and then they were going to zero. So I don't know, it's really hard for me to be optimistic. That is why I'm trying to keep to certain projects that I know, I understand. I understand how they make money. I can understand how they can keep pumping that back into the system. So yeah, that's me personally. But anyway, that's when the altcoins will go up. So actually, as Bitcoin's rising, if you feel you've missed the boat with that, let's say that you've got a spare £1,000, Bitcoin's just gone up to 25k, and you might think, oh, Bitcoin's going to 1,000k. Well, the best thing that could probably happen if Bitcoin does hit 100k is that obviously it does a 4x. A good option, in my opinion, not financial advice, is that whilst Bitcoin is on that run, and altcoins are sort of struggling or lagging behind, is to look at projects that have performed well over a long period of time. So projects that aren't, they haven't just come out last month. I'm talking projects that have been out for a few years now. They've done well. You like what they've done. You look at their history. That'll be the best time to pick up some altcoins. But we're not too interested in that right now. We're just talking about Bitcoin. Let's have a little look at where we are exactly now. As of recording this video, let me just refresh this page. Bitcoin is jumping, and this reminds me of how it was 3-4 years ago. Bitcoin is jumping from, at the minute, about 10 minutes ago, it was 17,850, and now it's jumped back up to 18,067, as you guys can probably see there in the video. And then it just flickered to 18,120 or something like that. So it's bouncing, it's fluctuating. Does that mean that we're in for a big drop? Probably, but it's all in perspective. If Bitcoin goes up 50% and then it has a 20% retracement, and you think, oh yeah, I'm going to buy on the deep, or well, you've just bought 30% higher than it was to buy that day. So if you believe Bitcoin is now on a path to 100k, it doesn't really matter if you buy in at 16k, 18k, 21k. Obviously, we all want to get the best price for it, but the best price for it was 10 years ago, and it's only got worse and worse and worse as we've gone along. Obviously, the best price recently, in recent time, was when it was at 3,500. Obviously, we talked about this many times on this channel. And even more recent than that, Bitcoin was about $7,000. And I actually bought my Bitcoin at just under $9,000. So for me, this obviously is a 1x, a double. From where I bought it at, obviously I'm talking in dollars, and I appreciate some of you from the UK will be confused. What's he talking about, 9,000? When someone messaged me saying, Glenn, have you seen Bitcoins at 13k? I thought, oh my God, it's dropped loads. But they mean pounds, not dollars. So yeah, it's a little bit confusing being predominantly in a US priced market and having English and British friends. So Bitcoin is now over 18k. It is just going up and up and up. It's on a bit of a run. So that's really good news. Now, what happened last time Bitcoin was at these sort of prices? So when I had a little look on Google to get the exact price and date, it says here that one Bitcoin on one Bitcoin exchange topped nearly $19,783. Now, apparently that was the all-time high, so we are getting very close to that. Will we get rejected at that and have a massive like 6-month dump? Who knows? That is where we're aiming for. So really, we want to be hitting sort of 20k. That will be confirmed all-time high for Bitcoin, and obviously this is very close to it. So when we was at 18k last time, because it only happened once and I was there for that. If I went back to my YouTube channel, which you guys should subscribe to, click on the subscribe button down below. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers now. When I look back, these are all my videos in order of when I made them. This is 4-year younger Glenn, looking a bit fatter there actually, I'd say. If we go down to my last video, so Bitcoin will hit 20k tonight. I've clicked on that, and this is where we were at. And I don't know if you guys can see in the video there, this is a snapshot of my video that I made that day when Bitcoin was at $19,500, and you can actually see the top there. So when I say I was there for the all-time high, I literally have video evidence that I was sitting at my computer watching the price hit the all-time high, and then it dumped right down, obviously retraced for a little while, and then had an even further dump past, I believe it was Christmas. This was actually December the 16th, 2017. So really 3 years ago. It's insane. I think, like, I haven't been doing these YouTube videos that long. 3 years I've been talking about Bitcoin. When Bitcoin dropped from this price, one of the first people that actually called it was Richard Hart. Richard Hart, as you guys may know, not that I'm sucking up to him or anything like that, he done a video about this sort of time when Bitcoin dropped, and he said, that's it now. Bitcoin goes on these massive runs, and then there's a 4-year retracement, consolidation phase. And that was when he was really negative about Bitcoin. Like, that was the first time I'd seen him defeated. I don't know if he just lost a load of money or what, but he'd done some videos really like, this is it now. Like, we've got to wait 4 more years and then Bitcoin will go on another run and probably hit its all-time high and then surpass that. But we've got to wait 4 years. Now, obviously, 3 years ago when he said that, that's a very long time to wait. Obviously, that's come and gone now. So now we're at 3 years later. And what he said was true. I mean, we're heading towards all-time high, but we don't know if in the next, I don't know, 6 months or so, there might be a dip and then it might bounce back. I don't know. Or it may just completely blast past that and go to 25, 30k. Who knows? I have no idea where it's going to go. But the time frame was about spot on. I wish I could go back and probably find that video that he said that, but I'd have to go back and watch. Richard Hart's videos are about 6 hours long, and he used to do them very regularly, so it'd be very difficult for me to find that video. But I've done videos myself talking about it. Let's see if it'd be easier for me to do that, actually. And again, this isn't me talking about Richard Hart because I love him or, you know, because of Hex or anything like that. It's just that he was the first person that I listened to or watched who was actually negative about Bitcoin. Everyone was saying, Bitcoin's going to 100k, Bitcoin's going to 1 million. And he was like, this is it now. We're in for a 4-year consolidation phase. And what he said actually panned out. Big respects to him for saying that at the time. Look, this is 2 years ago. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers. That's awesome. When will crypto bounce back? May the 14th be with you. So yeah, I mean, I was living the ups and the downs. Bitcoin price predictions for April 2018. I swear I did a video with a title, something like, finally, a green day in crypto. How long will it last? So yeah, I mean, that they are tough times. If this is when I first had the idea of doing these videos from this shed, live from the crypto cave. You can see, look, it still has all the plasterboard in the background. Is Bitcoin a bargain at 5k? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Buy it. It's going to 4x. Let's have a look. Will we be saying, though, in the future, was Bitcoin a bargain at 20k? Who knows? Is Bitcoin about to show up? You can see all these videos are just years and years of hopium, just hoping the price would go back up. And now today's that day. You know, when you say something like, oh, the price of Bitcoin's going to go back up, you can say it for months and months and months on end. And until it actually comes true, everyone just thinks you're crazy. Everyone thinks you're crazy. I was with a friend and I was saying to him, yeah, Bitcoin's going to hit its all-time high probably 2021. And he was like, how can you say that? You know, he said, didn't it just go from 20k to 7k? I'm like, yeah, but it's my honest belief it's going to go to 20k. And I remember him looking at me laughing and he said, you know, you're crazy, you're delusional. But yet here we are, literally a few months later. I should probably ring him up today and say, oh, check the price of Bitcoin. But he will look at it and say, yeah, but that's going to drop. Until he won't, and this is where I think most people are at, unfortunately. Most people won't hear about Bitcoin until it's too late. So Bitcoin's probably going to hit around, at some point, whenever it is, whether it's this year or next year, Bitcoin is probably going to start hitting 25k, 28k, sort of hitting 30k, and then it'll be in the news. And then it'll be in newspapers, then it'll be in magazines, then it'll come up on Facebook, and then it'll be in people's face, and they will go, oh, Bitcoin's at 30k, God, I wish I'd bought in when it was 9k. And by then they'll buy in, and by the time they buy in, that is the time to sell, because that is inherently when it's going to drop. And then there'll be maybe another 4-year cycle of dumping, who knows. That's my honest. A couple of guys in the Telegram group chat, they were like, look, if Bitcoin hits this price today, I'm gonna sell my Bitcoin and wait for a drop. So there are people that are waiting for that drop. They are waiting for that drop. There are people that are buying Bitcoin in a panic. They've got the fear of missing out. Oh God, if I don't buy it now, it's going to go to 25k and I feel like an idiot. Just put it in perspective. I always say to people, if you've got, someone messaged me the other day saying, Glenn, should I invest in Hex? And I said, well, I've got some questions for you before I answer your question. He was like, yeah, go for it. I said, how much are you looking to invest? And he said something like £300. And I said, how would you feel if that £300 went to zero? And he said, yeah, I'd be gutted, but I could take it on the chin. I said, okay, and how long do you reckon it'll be before you need to withdraw that money? And he said, oh, I wouldn't need to withdraw it for 15 years. Then I said, yeah, then Hex is a good time to buy. And he was like, how can, what can you base that on? Or, can you please explain? And it's my belief that most assets out there will be a lot more money in 15 years time just because of inflation. So just that on its own. And if you look at Bitcoin, then or Ethereum or any of them, if you're saying I want to put some money into it today and I don't need to touch it for 15 years, normally that's a sum of money that you don't necessarily need in the short term. So what I mean by that is I could probably scrape together today £20,000. And if I was to get that £20,000 and put it all in Sank, then everyone starts saying to me, Glenn, I need my money back now. Then unless Bitcoin goes on a massive, massive run, like within that very short period, I've got nothing to gain. I've paid all the coinbase or fees to buy the Bitcoin. Then I've had to store the Bitcoin somewhere. And then obviously once I cash out, I have to pay fees to cash out. So then therefore, unless Bitcoin goes on a 20% streak in a very short window, and then you have to pay, I don't know, 10% in fees, 7% in fees, 5% in fees, whatever it may be. You've got your exchange fee, and then you've got your transferring it into British pounds, and then obviously transferring it British pounds into your bank. All those fees along the way, if they equate to 7%, really you've made 10% or 13%. And that's you gambling on whether basically one or two candles are going to be green or red. So yeah, it's more long term that it works, that wherever you invest, it doesn't matter, at some point you're going to be profitable. So I said to him, like, if you don't need it 15 years, yeah, now is a good time to invest in Hex. If he had said to me, I'm going to put in £300 and I need that money to cover my rent at the end of next month, or I need it next month, then I would say no. Why would you risk almost like something that's a 50-50 chance of happening? Well, I know it's 50-50 because either it does happen or it doesn't. That's the way I think. Everything's 50-50. Why would you gamble 50-50, on something that you think's going to happen? Your better odds are to go to the casino. They really are. So it's a tough one for me to sort of say, right, this is a good time to buy. It's very interesting. I think that people should wait to see what happens with the all-time high. Now that is over $1,500. But put it in perspective, what is that? That is less than 10%. That's like 8%. So if you put £1,000 in today, which everyone's going to FOMO, oh my God, Bitcoin's at all-time high, I've got to buy it. Well, what are you hoping happens? What are you hoping? If you think, well, I'm going to buy today, and then in a week's time, I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to have £1 million, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is you're going to put in £1,000 today, and you'll be lucky if it's worth $950 in a month's time. Maybe if it has a really good run, it goes up 10%, 20%, which 10% from now would obviously be $1,800. You're talking that your 10% of your £1,000 that you put in, or $1,000, you're going to have 1,100. Deduct your fees for, cashing in and out of that, which is on Coinbase something ridiculous. So then you're going to end up with 1,050 quid. So essentially, you've gambled £1,000 to gain 50 quid. Potentially. They're the sort of outcomes. Now, if you're thinking, I hold it there, I know a lot of you Bitcoin maximalists out there are going to be saying, oh, Glenn, you don't know what you're talking about. I bought Bitcoin, I'll never look back. If you were thinking, I'm going to buy Bitcoin today and I'm going to hold it for the next 4 years, then sweet. You should be doing it. You should be doing it as much as possible where you can and can't afford it. Work your finances out. 1 month you might be able to do a couple of £100. 1 month you might be able to do £1,000. I don't know. Make sure you budget. Make sure you stay safe. Just be careful out there. Try not to FOMO in. If you feel like you have to get in now, otherwise the time's going to pass you by, the chances are that's what everyone else is thinking, the price will pump, but then it will inherently decline. So I would just say be a bit cautious. Now, I am actually a true believer of the stock to flow model ratio by Plan B, which I've talked about extensively on this video several times. He updates it every month. Every month he adds a new little coloured dot on there, and it's going exactly where it predicted. Does that mean it's 100% guaranteed? No. Does it mean it's probably likely? You have to say, look, this has happened 2 or 3 times before, and now it's starting to repeat itself for a 4th time or 3rd. Do you think it's likely that it's going to happen? I would say the answer is yes. That's how it looks. Does it mean it's a guarantee? No, it's not a guarantee. But the probabilities of it happening are more so than not. It would have to be very unusual for it to not happen. So I honestly believe that Bitcoin is going to head to 100k. There's going to be a lot of FOMOing. There's going to be a lot of panic, and people are just going to buy the hell out of it. I believe we're going to see figures like, we're going to see Bitcoin going up $1,000 a day, you know, $2,000 a day, $4,000 a day. We've seen it before. I've seen it before. And I reckon it's going to hit 180k, close to 200k, and then it's going to drop dramatically. I mean, I'm talking 80%, but 80% of like 200k is probably still 80,000, and we're going to then stagnate around the sort of 100k level. That's my belief. I've been saying that. If you watch back on my old videos, which I know 99% of you will not. If you look back at all my old videos, I have been champion, even before I saw the stock to flow model, that I believe Bitcoin could be worth 100k. Some people look even further than that, and they're looking at the next step up, which obviously would put it at $1 million per Bitcoin. And I'm not interested in that right now. I'm really not. And people may say that's short-sighted of me, but you know, I'm 30. I am 35 or 36. I don't know. I might even be 37 this year. I don't know. you stop counting after a while. And I have to say to myself, well, look, do I really want to invest in something for 10 years? Even if it made me a millionaire in 10 years' time, is that something that I want or need? I don't know. You know, you get to a point, what do you want in life, you know? And if Bitcoin went to 100,000, or it started going above that, I would look to sell my Bitcoin. Even if I was to spend that profit and look to buy back in whenever it dropped. Once it's had a big retracement and it was in that sort of 3 to 4 year consolidation phase, so I would probably look to buy Bitcoin again around here. So obviously that's going to be an awesome couple of years here for me, and then obviously I'll start to accumulate and hopefully do the same all over again and ride that wave to that one, and then there's a good couple of years for me there. I would rather that than, you know, at least I could say, well, do you remember that time I invested in Bitcoin and we did this with it, you know? So yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. What do you guys think? Where do you think Bitcoin's going to go? I'd love to hear from you. Please comment down below any thoughts that you have. I do read every single comment that is posted, even if I don't respond to you. You can also find me on Telegram, which is Team Glen. There's a group of guys in there. I think we're almost at 450 members now, so that's really awesome. Thank you to everyone that's been joining that. Any sort of bots or scammers or anything like that, we tend to sort of stomp out as we're going along. So really, we have sort of a good 300 to 400 members in there that don't shield, don't scam, have solid sound advice. So feel free to join that if you want to, or if you want to just chat to me on a more personal level, you can find me at Twitter, which is at bitglen, or you can always just comment down below. That's obviously the most easiest way. The other investment that I'm looking in at the moment is obviously Hex. Now the reason I'm bringing up Hex quite a lot recently, you may say, why has Glen mentioned Hex in his last like 3 videos? And that is because I invested in this with the intention of ending my stakes once the big payday was happening. The big payday is the 19th of November. We are now currently on the 18th of November. So this is a very significant time in the Hex community. And for me personally, obviously I have a lot staked in this. So with potential, depending on the price of Hex on the day when all these stakes end, I can either cash right out and pretty much put it all into Bitcoin. I could probably buy one whole Bitcoin, potentially. Obviously, if the price stays as it is, it looks like I might be able to buy half a Bitcoin or something like that. Or I could just keep it in Hex and leave it riding for a little while. Obviously, why sell when it's in a dump phase? I might as well wait till it has a next pump, I suppose, and just keep it in there for that long. I wouldn't stake again for another 6 to 9 months like I have done this time, because that's quite a big commitment for a big chunk of money. For someone like me who hasn't got huge chunks of money to be staking and throwing around. So, I don't know. But it has, again... I say that it has been one of the best performing assets that I have held, and obviously the staking has been a huge part of that. If I just bought Hex and just held it, yeah, I mean, it's 4x from where it is, but the actual real benefit is that I'm accumulating double the amount of it. So that 4x now becomes, in theory, 8x. Do you see what I mean? So I think the big paydays are a really big event. You can see here that I'm not lying. Most of my stakes are at 98.9%. So I literally have like 1.5% left to go, which equates to about a day and a half, 2 days. So I've got only a few more days of these stakes. I can then end them. And then obviously the experiment, the end side of it, is to see what happens, obviously, with Hex after that. One of you guys reached out to me and said, Glenn, look, I've had a chat with Richard Hart and he would be interested in doing a video with you. So all round, a really good time to be in crypto. Hex has got the big payday coming up tomorrow. I'll probably do another video tomorrow, because that is an event that obviously I've been talking about for a good, I think I invested in April, so it would be sort of, what's that, 8 months, something like that, 9 months. So it would only be fair that obviously I see it through to the end and obviously do a video about the big payday. So I need to calculate exactly what time it will happen where I am in the UK. I believe it's probably something like 1 in the morning. So it may not actually be tomorrow. It may be 1 in the morning. Maybe I'll do a live stream or something. But then I'm going to have to like end my stakes, transfer the money into my MetaMask, and then decide what I'm doing with it. Then I still will have some stakes. So some of you that might think, oh, Glenn's cashing out of Hex, that's wrong. I've actually got one stake that's only 25% into it, so that's still got quite a long way to go. And I also have a really long stake for, I think it's for, well, it's only 4% into it, and it's got another like 3,600 days. So this is for 2030, so it's still another 10 years away. So for anyone out there that's like, oh, Glenn's cashing out, Glenn's ending Hex. No, obviously when I first invested in this, I was like, oh, big payday's the 19th of November. As long as I stake past this date, so I was like, oh, I'll do it for the day after big payday, you know. So that was just my way of thinking 8-9 months ago, and I'm sure many of you out there. So I'm expecting the price of Hex to potentially go down. That's my personal feeling. It has just gone down already. It was just touching 1 cent 2 days ago, and now it's dropped down to almost a half cent. I would imagine that's going to go down even further. Obviously, for me, I invested in when it was at 0.0018 of a cent. So even these, for me, this price here is still 4-5x from where I was at, and my amount of Hex that I have is about to be doubled. And this is what I was trying to explain to everyone the other day. Like, if you was, I know I shouldn't use Bitcoin, let me use Ethereum. If I said to you, you could buy 1 Ethereum today, and on this specific date, you will have 2 Ethereum. If you bought this Ethereum at $300, and by the time it got to 2, it went down to 250, would you be like, oh, I've made a loss? Well, no, you'd have 2 Ethereum. So you would have obviously $500 worth. So it negates that drop in price. That's my game theory. That's what I'm hoping will happen. So I believe that that's actually a better cushion than just investing in saying, can it drop in 50% at least? I'd rather it drop 50% but I gain double of it. So that way it sort of cushions that blow. So I actually think that Hex, this is, if you want to take part in the big payday, if you've got some money that you want to stake today and you'll get more of it, you know, or pretty much tomorrow or the day after, today's your last day. If you do want to stake some Hex, even if it's for a few days, a couple of days, just to see if you can take part in this big payday, there's always things that happen later down the line as well, and I'm not making any promises, but if we look at, say, Uniswap, if you created a Uniswap account and at any point you just played about with Uniswap, you got those tokens which were worth like $2,000. No one knew that 6 months ago, a year ago. What I'm saying is that there may be something that is stamped on the Ethereum dress that you took part in the big payday down the line, and you get these free tokens or this free staking. I don't know, and I can't guarantee that, and I'm not promising that to anyone. I'm not saying that will definitely happen, but I think it's better to take part, even if it's with a small amount of money. It's better to take part in events that happen in the cryptocurrency space, because these are really sort of time-stamped events. These are events that you can recall back on. I mean, even BitConnect, so, you know, like I'm glad I was there while that was all happening. I didn't put any of my money into BitConnect. I tried it. I put in like $50 or $100 or something, and I was like, this is clearly a scam. And I told everyone, this is a scam, don't do it, don't use it. And then we had the whole like BitConnect and all that. Like, I'm glad I was a part of that. I'm glad I didn't miss that, and I've learned from that, and I saw the mistakes others made. And even as a YouTuber, I saw all these people just shilling it, you know, and they were saying, and they were just repetitively doing the same thing over and over again, so that it drummed the viewer into like, oh yes, I need to invest in this, and this is how I do it, because I'm watching this man do it every day for half an hour at a time. I'm watching him do it, so I should do the same. So when it came to Hex, and everyone was saying Hex was a scam, I thought, let's learn from the lessons in the past. I like the look of Hex. I don't think it's a scam, but I'm also not going to keep shilling it day in, day out. So if you actually look at all my videos, even though that Hex has been my majority crypto that's done well for me, I've only sort of mentioned it probably about 8 to 10 times, and that's over the course of 9 months. So I feel quite happy with where I'm at with that. I don't feel I've overshielded it. I don't feel like I've drummed it into people. I haven't lost anyone any money. You know, I feel I can sleep at night. That's what I'm trying to say, is that I feel fine with that. And people can look back maybe once Hex has done whatever it's going to do, and people say, Glenn, some guys have messaged me, and it's a really nice feeling, and they said, Glenn, you told me to invest in Hex. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have done it. I'm glad you did, because I've tripled my money. That's paid for my kid to go to uni or college. That's brilliant. I can't believe that something I would have said, someone would listen to and actually profit from. That is, to me, that's awesome. I really, really am happy about that. So will that continue to happen? I don't know, but I'll report it to you the second it does. That's it from me, guys. I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to smash that like button and click subscribe if you're new to this channel, and I'll see you on the next video from Glen. Bye.